Chess tips and tricks to reach 2000 ELO tier list. Welcome back today, everyone. I've got a video where I'm going to be doing a tier list of all the things, all the concepts, tips and tricks you need to know to reach 2000, and I'm going to be rating them on how important they are. So obviously S tier means they're the highest rank, which means if you implement them as soon as this video ends or whatever, then it's going to give you the highest return on your investment. And lots of these are common phrases and everything that you would have heard maybe before. I put lots in which personally helped me, and I'm going to be giving you all the secrets that kind of help me reach chess fast. As well, if you'd like to get good at chess fast, because it can be a very time-consuming hobby and you want to get good at chess very quick, I've got a limited time offer of chess coaching, which the price is double very soon. So if you'd like to do that, I've got a couple more slots available. You can do it below, and let's get your ELO very high. So link in description. So let's get into the video. So I've got some lovely concepts here, tips and tricks, and let's just start with them. So number one, we've got connect. Now, obviously, I'm kind of referencing the Luke Belmar video where he says connect. But when I say connect, I mean keeping your pieces connected, keeping your pawns connected, keeping your pieces protected by your pawns, making sure everything is in harmony and everything flows together on the chessboard and everything protects each other. If you do not have your pieces connected, you're going to get Johnny Walkered, literally. So you can't play chess and you can't reach 2000 without being able to connect your pieces well. So everything should always be protected at all times, and this is going to be S tier because this is so important. Because when tactics really only arise when pieces are loose and stuff isn't connected. This is going to be a very interesting tier list, by the way. I'm going to add something at the very end. So at the very end of the video, I'm going to add a bonus one, which is going to give you another thing, something you can write down on a piece of paper. It's really important. So on to the next one now. We've got control the center and also focus on the center. So obviously the center in chess is made up of e4, d4, e5, and d5. And now you've got the center, and as you can see in this little picture, that kind of goes around it. So it'll be f6, d6, But the main center of those four squares, and what I'm referring to is how important they are to focus on controlling the center. This is S tier. You have to be focusing and controlling the center. He who controls the center of the board controls the game. So the center is a very important part of chess. And if you want a concept you're going to take away from this video, take away that every single move you play in chess should be some way, shape, or formed aimed at either controlling your center, reinforcing your center, or breaking your opponent's center apart, because it's very important. Now, the next one is common advice, is focus on the endgame. I'm sure you've heard that. Now, obviously, this tier list is based on stuff that's going to get you to 2000, and based on stuff that really just got me to 2000, but I believe you will hit 2000 as well. So, focus on the endgame was common advice. I'm actually going to give this C tier. I didn't really think it was too good advice. I learnt the basic king and pawn endgames, how to win with just a rook. That stuff was good, but I've never really focused on endgames that much. And to get to 2000, I think it's a C tier. It's not super important. Next one we've got is keep the tension. I think this is a very big one because it also translates into composure in chess. If you're not composed in chess, and when you've got the ability to exchange pieces and you're going to want to do it straight away, you have to be able to keep the tension. It's a very important skill in chess. So whenever you see a pawn you can take, you don't always have to take it. Sometimes let your opponent take your pawn so you can, when you take it back, maybe you open up and you open a file. It's important. And it's a very nice concept to know. And once you start implementing it, it's going to really help you with chess. So I'm going to give it a B tier. Now, next one I've got is study the master games. We've got some lovely masters here. So study the master games. This is very common advice, especially from chess masters themselves. I know Jose Raul Capablanca, one of my ex-training partners, he used to say this a lot. Following the master games is important, but to me, I've never really got much better at chess by studying master games. Now, one thing that has helped me with my chess is just watching master games for fun. So watching YouTube channels. Obviously, on this YouTube channel, we like to show kind of alternative stuff, as you already know. So I'm gonna say, watch Study Master Games is probably a D tier. I like to watch them for fun, but on terms of return on investment, Study Master Games has never really helped me. In fact, it's normally always just confuses me even more. So, next one we've got is Focus on Tactics. I'm gonna put this in A tier, because focus on tactics is very important, especially if you want to get out the 1000 elo range. It's almost impossible to get out the 1000 elo range if you're not good at tactics. You need basic tactics. Tactics win games. However, I do think it's not the most important thing. It's very important, but you can get very good at chess without being super good at tactics. Very important, so for that reason I'm going to give them A tier. Next one, I've got Knights Before Bishops, as you would have heard this. I think this is important. However, it's not the end of the world, so I'm going to give it a D tier. The reason why I say that as well is you can develop bishops before. As a good rule of thumb, it's always good to develop knights before bishops. But as we move later on in the video, I'm going to reveal something else about bringing your knights out to certain squares, which you would end up doing if you would just blindly follow the principle of knights before bishops. But in general, especially if you're first getting into chess, just get your knights out before your bishops is going to help you. Now, the next one is learning opening theory. Studying opening theory. I think studying opening theory, I'm going to give it B tier. It has its time and place, and it's going to really help you avoid losing super early in the opening sometimes. It's also quite fun, and you also get the instant sense that you're going to get very good at chess because you're learning stuff. Oh, look, I've learned this opening. However, if you blindly just memorize opening theory, you will forget it. So opening theory is good. It's good to understand openings. I'm going to give it a B tier because you can get very good at chess without really knowing any opening theory at all. Right, so we got next one. We've got pawns in front of is moving your pawns in front of your king. So anyone who I ever do chess coaching with, and this is a massive thing. I once heard this actually from Levi Rosman. He said, never move your pawns in front of your king. And in this little diagram, you can actually see, I'll put a picture up. Every single pawn is moved in front of the king, especially when it's castled. That's what I mean. I'm referring to the castled king. I'm going to give this A tier as well. You never, ever want to move pawns in front of your kings. Really. Actually, I'm going to give it a B tier, because there's exceptions. Obviously, it's a good idea to go h6. Obviously, you can go g6 and fianchetto your king, but you should never really just try blindly kick pieces away with your pawns, in my opinion, because it normally just creates weaknesses. So that's the downfall, is if you're going to move pawns, you're also going to create weaknesses. So you have to really keep that in mind. So B tier. If you follow it, yeah, it's about B tier importance. Now, the next one we've got A tier. I'm going to go, A tier. I'm going to go pigs on the 7th rank. The reason why I'm giving this an A tier is because when you put your rooks on the 7th rank, or the 2nd rank, by the way, it's a term, pigs on the 7th is a term in chess, and it kind of means rooks on the 7th rank. Now, rooks on the 7th rank, if you can get your rooks on the 7th rank, both of them, you're probably got your chances of winning the game go up about 500%. It's normally very hard to defend, and it's something as a concept you should always strive and get, especially if it's available to you. So it's a great concept. So I'm going to give pigs on the 7th an A tier. Now, we've got don't block the c-pawn with your knight. So this is common in chess because when you go to castle, you bring your knight out to like f3 or f6. I can put a diagram for those of you who'd like to see. However, when you put your knight out to c6 blindly without moving the c-pawn first, normally you block the c-pawn. And going back to the very start of the video when I said keep your pawns in the center, the c-pawn can be a great attacking piece to oppose your opponent's center. So it's always a good idea in chess to maybe try and move your c-pawn first and then move your knight. A knight on c6 is a lot more deadly if it's already on if the pawn's on c5. I'm going to give this B tier because it's good advice. Like I just said, there's going to be exceptions. It won't get you amazing at chess, but it could maybe get you 50 elo points higher, which is what we want. Now, play e4, especially over d4. This is kind of what I mean, is play the move e4 if you want to get to 2000. I'm going to give this... what should I give this? Play e4. I'm going to give this C tier. The reason why I'm going to give this C tier is because I think it's decent advice. I think everything here is decent advice. I'm just ranking it. But playing e4 just blindly is helpful because you're going to get open games. It's going to really help you with tactics. But it may also be fun to play d4. It may be also fun to play other openings. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going B because it's pretty good advice, and yeah, I think you should play e4 until 2000 because d4 if you want to play d4 you can just play it as black. So I think it's B. Now next one is we've got longer time controls. As you can see, there's 30 minutes there. I'm going to give this A tier. I think playing longer time chess controls is going to really help improve your chess. However, I'm not 1,000,000% sure it's the only thing, because the problem is if you play too many long time controls, you may lose your enjoyment for the game. So I think it's important to mix it up. Now and then play a long game. Now and then try and play lots of 10-minute games. Try play blitz games. Play whatever you like. But I think long time control games can be a very effective tool because they'll kind of expose your thinking. A lot of the stuff you can get away with in like a 10-minute rapid game, you can't get away in a 30-minute game because a lot of the stuff's kind of an impulse. You'll be playing on impulse. Your opponent will be playing on impulse as well. So the next thing is bringing your queen out early. But I actually refer to is do not bring your queen out early. How good of advice is this? I'm gonna give this C tier. It's normally when you bring your queen out too early, you can run into problems. It should preferably be the last piece you develop. Now, there's obviously going to be lots of exceptions to this rule, lots. So you can bend this rule a lot of the time. But here I'm going to give it C tier because bringing your queen out early is good. Is bad. However, sometimes it's actually quite necessary, especially in some openings where your opponent brings their queen out early and you might need to bring it out as well. So I'm going to give it C tier. Right, next one we've got is pawn structure. And focusing on pawn structures. Focusing on pawn structures will help you. I'm going to give it C tier. But also, I'm also referring to a lot of my own experience in chess. Now, focusing on pawn structures has helped me. But at the end of the day, you still need to make the best move. I think understanding the pawn structure and having a little glimpse of what the pawn structure looks like can be a great weapon. Especially if you've got lots of holes in the position, you've got Swiss cheese, then you don't want your opponent penetrating you. So it's important with pawn structure to focus on it, but you don't want to spend all your time worrying about the pawn structure. A lot of the time the pawn structure will dictate the play of the game, so it's definitely something you can't neglect at all, by absolutely no means. But what I mean is really having a deep understanding of pawn structure in order to get to 2000. I'm not sure it's the most important thing here. I'm going to give it C tier. Now, we've got never play F6. Instant S tier. Never play F6. Number one rule of chess if you want to get better is never play F6. Nothing ever good happens really when you play F6. There's very, very rare situations I've ever had in order for me to reach 2000 ELO where F6 was a good move. Sometimes if you're going to go F6 and you go E5 and your opponent's like dark squared bishop is exchanged or light squared bishop, whatever side of the board you're playing, maybe it's okay. But as a beginner, just never really go F6. And if you want to reach 2000, I would never go F6. Now, we've got the next one is we've got castle before move 10. This is another one, A. A lot of the time, a lot of problems you'll reach if you get checkmated early in the game happens because you don't move your castle, don't move your king before move 10 and you don't castle him. So I'm going to give this A tier. It's something you should really focus on. And last one, I've got one more bonus on the end, but the next one I've got a very nice tip, which is try and bring your knight as far up the board as possible. If you can bring your knight up as far up the board as possible, it's going to really help you. I once read this in a book wrote by Yasser Seirawan, who was he might have been a US champion. He was a very strong chess player. I'm sure lots of you may have heard of him and know him as he likes to commentate. So I'm going to give this a very nice tip. I'm going to give it B. It's something you should focus on. Like I said, everything here is valuable, but putting your knight up the board as much as possible is going to really help you. And the last bonus tip I wanted to give you, as I said I would, is on a piece of paper, you can actually write down, how can I improve my worst piece in the position? And you can actually stick it to like next to your computer, wherever you play. And when you're playing chess and you don't know what to do, you can always look at it. I actually learned this from France's #1 chess player, Ali Reza Firouzja. So it's not even me, I'm learning from a super grandmaster. So anyway, this is my tier list. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments, and you might enjoy this video as well. If you'd like to do chess coaching, it's going to end very soon, so look at the link in the description, see if you want to reach a 2,000 very quick, as I've helped lots of people do it before, and I've helped myself do it before. So thank you for your time and attention. Have a good day.